Welcome everyone to 600 Pounds Down live broadcast show right now. I'm Coach Justin along with Coach George. George, man, we have a very special guest tonight. Man, we got to meet her a little bit before this opportunity, before this segment, before we're live, and she's awesome. She's awesome already, and what she brings to the table is truthfully something I think a lot of our listeners are looking for. Not that our previous guests didn't matter, right? They did, but there's always this. There's a unique, I guess, perspective that people have or niche that people have that they just want to learn more from a person who's been there, right? With being a woman and also where she's at in her life with her age. Like she's a recipe for success. She's a recipe to share with other people her journey. It's going to be incredible. I'm excited, man. What about you?
It just goes to show that you can do this at any time. There might be more ideal times than others, but it's not impossible. And Joyce is one of those people that it's never too late. Uh, I what did I post the other day in preparation for this? It's like what's the moniker? Oh, that's good for them. Oh, other people can do it. I can't. Who says you can't, man? Who says you can't? Who says this can't be you? We have had person after person after person, either at the beginning, middle, or near the finish line of their journey, and it's like, who says it can't be you?
That's right.
And we're gonna keep having people on here. We're gonna
Yeah.
keep having guests to prove to that person who says it can't be you.
Yeah. Nobody's exempt. That's the beautiful part. Like people want to walk through this life and here's the truth, man. We want to make every reason why it can't be us. Why
Right.
it can't be us. We don't make enough money. We don't have a gym near us. We don't have a store that gives us health food, right? Like we make up every reason as to why and we don't do enough research on our own to say, oh, but I have this, but I have that. And guess what, everyone? You are listening right now. I'm going to knock on your door and say this. Go back and listen to the previous episodes of 600 Pounds Down that talk about how to live healthy on a budget. That'll get you some momentum. That'll get you something to listen to. That'll put you on the right path. But before we begin with that, I just want y'all to know we are not medical professionals, okay? Just so you're aware, read that, please. Always seek medical advice or your medical professional team for more answers. We are just two guys that really love health, that really have a great story, each of us. And we just want other people to be aware of the amazing stories that they can have as well, right? So come listen, come take the advice we give you, the suggestions we give you, but always check your medical team before you jump in with anything that you do. George, before we begin with our guest Joyce tonight, how was your week, man? Like, did you have a I mean, I know you were busy. Here's the thing, guys. George gets busy, I get busy, but we try to make this thing work in the busy. And I just want George, what's it like being a dad and having to do the health thing?
So, what I remember, Justin, you a couple of weeks ago posted, when you're making your kids lunch, don't snack on your kids' lunches. So I have taken that to heart. Do not snack on the kids' lunches. You don't need to. Okay. But at the same time, something that I've started doing is started making sure to get organics, getting whole foods for the kids, strawberries, carrots. My kids actually really love. My son picked out celery at the store the other day. He's like, I'm like, Georgie, what do you want? What do you want out of the produce section? I want celery. Celery. Okay, we'll get celery. And so I try to do fruits and vegetables. I do a peanut butter and jelly, but it's the salted peanuts, peanut butter, the
Natural.
organic peanut butter, and we do like we do a health bar, we do all these other things, and I've noticed a change in their day-to-day behavior because of it.
Hmm.
When we consistently do the no added sugars, the no dyes, the no other stuff, not saying that I'm exempting my kids of all of the wonderful things that you can have when you're a kid, but instead of just straight apple juice in the water bottle, we're going to do half water, half apple juice, and the apple juice is no sugar added apple juice.
Mhm.
And I've noticed that whenever my kids maybe go to someone's house or with other family members and they have like a donut or something like that, which is fine, they're kids, but I found that they don't know what to do with all that sugar in their body and they start getting wired.
Right.
And so I have noticed a behavioral change in the kids by going more whole food, less processed stuff.
Yeah.
And I talked to my son's 4 years old, super inquisitive. I'm like, hey, daddy, why do we eat this stuff? And I go, well, Georgie, we eat this stuff because it's good for us and it gives us energy. And it actually tastes good too, doesn't it? He's like, oh yeah, I like this stuff. This tastes good. And so like I'm able to have conversations with him because he's starting to get cognizant. He's starting to learn. He's starting to listen, and it's actually creates really good organic conversation because then he gets to talk to his dad too.
Yeah, it's good. No, that's real. And that how we invest in our children today, how we invest goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, that's incredible. So remember, you are the people. You are the person that's paving the way, right? So, all right, guys, we have a lot to talk about, but I know what you're here for. For those of you who are checking this out right now on the live, please drop some comments. We see Matt Ryan. Hey, what's up, Matt? Good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, like just drop your comments, tell us that you're here. And we're going to have Joyce up here in a moment, man. She's going to be sharing her story. So get ready. I just want y'all to get ready. Let's get excited. George, I think we should just get down to it. What about you?
Let's do it.
All right. Joyce, 400 pounds down. It's incredible. Right here on 600 pounds down, live next. And I was given a death sentence at the age of 16. I became a slave to food and to fear. 799 pounds. 799 pounds. But here I am today, 600 pounds lighter. And I'm here to share my story with you to help you improve, to help you find your way, and to help you become a more motivated person. I'll be your inspiration. Here we go. Let's do this.
He's been on the Today Show, The Doctors, in the National Enquirer, and in newspapers and magazines all over the country. Don't miss the 600 Pounds Down podcast featuring Justin Willoughby.
Hey, Joyce. Super happy to see you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
You don't even
I
look
wanna
like you
start
used
off
to
by
weigh more
saying-
than you did today. You don't even look like the person who's
know.
like,
I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for having me on. And thank you for sharing not only your story, but George's as well. Like I tell everybody, no matter how much you have to lose, it's important to get healthy. That's my goal. My goal is to help anybody I know get healthy.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your weight loss. I mean, just like I do, the importance of not only being healthy, but getting up and get moving and get doing stuff. And now I can run circles around a lot of people.
that's
I
amazing.
mean,
I love
really.
that. Yeah, I love that. That's the energy that comes with it, man. I hope people recognize that too, right?
Yes.
There's energy, there's a
Yes.
new flow of who you are that comes with being a healthier person. And so I actually
Yes.
saw your story, Joyce, as you're part of the 600 pounds down community. And I got to just kind of observe
Right.
you, right? And I know you do some speaking to churches around the
Yes.
community, and you're a voice
Yes.
of
Yeah.
help and health to a lot of people. So I really
Right.
enjoy. I'm like 400 pounds down. Like that's a significant. And
Yeah.
here's the thing: I hear a lot of men dropping that weight, but when it
Mhm.
comes down to females, there's a little bit of a
Yeah.
difference there. It's not as much seen, right? It's a little different.
Yes.
But and then I think
Yes.
sometimes it's easy for someone to say, as a woman, to say, well, that's a guy thing, or guys can lose that much, but I can't, or I just can't do that. I mean, I'm sure you've had uttered those words before. So we're gonna get into
Yes.
all that. I just saying that's what really intrigued me with your story. Now,
Yeah.
I do want to switch into the gear though, because looking at your story, you shared a little bit with me on the phone how you got to
Right.
this really dark place in your life. So you just take us back to a history lesson, just share with us who you were and what made you get to a big amount of weight. What was your top weight? All that stuff. We want to give our audience everything we can
Right.
give them to set the pace
Right.
of the story.
Right. Well, To start off, I I'm in the middle, probably about another month I should have my book out. So it'll have details of what happened, and um whenever I was young, I grew up, I was a really very pretty little girl, and I used to think that everything revolved around how you looked. That I grew up in an era where everything revolved about what you look like. And so I was about 9 years old and I was molested by somebody very close to us. And I already had my own problems with sense of identity, which I share like more in length, in more in detail, um, because of my last name. You see Gibson in the middle, and I leave it there on purpose to just remind myself that my identity isn't found in my name; it's in Jesus. So I keep going forward, and um, my last name Gibson was not my biological father nor my stepfather, who was my stepfather for 53 years. So I grew up thinking if I wasn't perfect, they were going to get rid of me. And at 9 years old, I started putting on some weight after that happened and heard, "You're such a pretty little girl. If you would just lose some weight, you'd be beautiful." And it just clicked something in me that was, I already have a lot of problems. If you only knew what happened, you would never say that. I needed help and I didn't get it. And so I lived in my own, I call it my own imaginary world. I escaped kind of reality when it came to dealing with problems. I knew I had to pay rent and take care of my kids and stuff like that. But I really did a lot of times daydream. I told my daughter this today. I got to be 575 pounds. And the thing is, inside my head, I weighed 150. I didn't
Mhm.
weigh 575. I just lived this life that it was kind of imaginary. And I have this picture. I don't know if everybody will be able to see it, but
Mhm.
this was the 575-pound me. And it does change who you are and what you can do. And so, anyway, time went on, and every time something happened, I kind of just went further into overeating. I hit one place probably, and I got a picture that's shocking of I hit my pretty much almost my goal weight when I was younger, and then something else happened, and I never took care of what happened. And that's the problem, because food was always my addiction. You know, when you said that about giving a death sentence, honestly, that's what kicked me out of being overweight and thinking I have a chance, because I didn't think I had a chance. Um, I was, the sad part was, by the time I was 60, I think I was 62, yeah, when I started. Um, my husband had passed. He accepted me always how I was, so there was no problem there. By the time he died, I was at least, and I'd been there for years, 438 pounds. But still, that's a huge amount of weight to carry around at that age. And I think I was okay with dying. I was
Mhm.
okay until I was. I always say it this way: I was okay until I wasn't.
Mhm.
And I had something miraculous happen. It was a divine intervention through God that I can't even, it's just hard to explain, other than you be there and know the person I am and the honest person that I am. And um, it was, I remember praying and asking my pastor and going up front and saying, I got to do something. I got to do something or I won't be here. And, he prayed for me, but he said something to me. And he said, Joyce, and I know you probably heard this, I had been over 30 years a Christian by then. Joyce, Philippians 4:13 says you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. And I'm
Mhm.
sure you've heard it, you know it, but the
Mhm.
problem is I didn't live it. And when he said, remember something, just remember this. You can do all things through Christ who gives you strength, but he's not going to ever give you something to do that he doesn't strengthen you to do.
Mm,
And so I thought, he's not going to tell you to get up on top of our church and jump off. That's kind of ridiculous. But if you give it to him. So I started really thinking about it, and I thought about it. And I heard him say one time, the Holy Spirit is not an it, he's a he. And he's living inside of you and he will guide you. You have to ask.
mhm,
And I lived in my prison for so long. I mean, so long that I just was scared. Like you said, fear. I was afraid to try because I didn't know if I could do it.
yeah.
And one Sunday I was sitting in the pew, and all of a sudden, I don't even remember if he was speaking, if we were singing. I don't even remember to this day. I got up out of that pew and walked right up to the front of the church. And it's like God took my hand and pulled me out and just walked me up there. And then later, somebody told me they saw almost like wind rush down the middle aisle of our church and hit my hair, because my hair's long, and hit my hair, blow up to the rafters, blow some stuff and move it up there. And later I realized God was saying, Joyce, it's time.
Mm,
Just take the little box that you have of hurts, the millions of hurts you've put in there. And it's like I could see it. I could feel God on one hand, just one hand like this. And with this other hand, it was like, shatter it, just shatter it. And I did. And the crazy thing, and I'm going to tell and I don't know how to explain this other than you have to understand something I saw. All those hurts, they, instead of sprinkling down, like you hear sometimes they say, the Holy Spirit sprinkles down upon us. And I saw all those things go right back up to him
mm,
in my own like vision of seeing it. But the crazy thing was, I'll never be able to explain to another human being the colors that I saw, because
mm,
they were colors that I've never seen in my life. They weren't pink or red or green or orange or whatever, purple. They were colors I've never seen in my life. I just stood there in awe, and I thought, oh, this is it. Okay, maybe I have a chance. And then God said, no, with that same hand, let's just go ahead. You're burning that prison. You're never going to sit in that prison again. And we did. And that's the day that changed my life, October the 25th. And I have never turned back. I mean, I've had a couple little, in the last few months, I fell two times. I said, I waited until I got to almost my whole goal weight, and then I fell. All those years being all that overweight with my cane, walking with my cane, always walking, knowing where I was going, and never fell. And then I fell twice within like 1 month. So,
wow. Wow. Joyce, there's oh my goodness, there's a lot of stuff,
yeah,
packed in that. And I just want you to know, I mean,
yes,
there's people here. Andrea, yeah, Joyce, Andrea showed up. Ben's up here. Might be wrong, but it seems like becoming overweight happens over such a period of time that it's not noticed until it
Mhm.
hits the extreme. Ben, that is my
That's the quote of the
case.
night right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep. Yes, and super inspirational. He's saying, and then we got Andrea saying, "Hi, that's my beautiful mom. She's the biggest inspiration and
that's
encouragement
my
in my
daughter.
life." Woo!
Yeah.
All right, got some love up here. And then Scott's always a big fan. Go Joyce, I love it. So you're getting some
Yeah.
good
Yes.
good feedback here. Now, I want to unpack a little bit as you just went through
Okay.
your story. There,
Yeah.
that's incredible. So a supernatural experience changed your
Hmm.
perspective on life, helps you escape the
Yes.
prison that really just puts you into the place where you really you think you found food as your comfort source? Is that what you would go to
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Tell me more about that. Like, tell me that relationship with food. I want to hear how, like, what was it like
I,
for you and what did it do for you?
I, the man who said that about, weight comes on over time, he couldn't be more right, because there there were times I remember specifics. I'll just say this, like some of it, can be embarrassing because like, wow, I can't believe I did that. Like I eat now like so different, and I don't eat fast food. I just don't. But I remember one time specifically going to McDonald's and getting a quarter pounder with cheese because that's what I love. No ketchup because I don't like ketchup. No ketchup. Um, I got the biggie one where they give you the big soda. Oh, I think I got diet because I thought I was gonna feel better if I got diet. With the big fries, and I look over. And I was like, I kind of like, I was trying to figure out if I wanted Taco Bell or if I wanted McDonald's. So I thought, what the heck? I went over to Taco Bell. I got myself 3 Taco Supremes and Pintos and cheese or whatever. And as I was leaving, looked across the street and there was Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I went and got my little 6-piece honey barbecue boneless wings. And I ate all that.
Mm.
And so from the morning time when I would get up, now that was unusual. I usually didn't eat that huge amount at one time, but I always say it like this. I would get up in the morning thinking that, like I said, I was this 150-pound woman who could keep all this food off of her, and I would have whatever I wanted. I just made whatever I wanted. If I wanted eggs with pancakes and bacon and whatever, that's what I had. And then maybe an hour 30, 45 minutes later, I went and got myself a snack of whatever. And a lot of it was like boxed foods and canned foods and easy ravioli cans and whatever. And I would get that and eat it. And then I'd have lunch. And then I would have another snack. And then I would have a snack between that and dinner. And then I ate dinner and I probably had 3 more snacks. So it seemed like all day long was just nothing but food and food and food and food out, everything. And somebody said something a little while ago. The problem is, um, a lot of people as you get older are not going to say anything to you. I mean, my mom did. My mom always said it, but my mom didn't understand my story. She understood her. She didn't understand me. If she gained a little bit of weight, she wanted to get it back off.
Mhm.
Um, it didn't matter. I felt overwhelmed because how the heck am I going to lose weight at 575 pounds? I don't have 25 to lose. I have, 400. and and so that was my, I guess food was, I wouldn't have to think. I wouldn't have to think about problems. My kids would sometimes do this like, mom, mom, mom. And
Mm.
then my daughter, if she's watching right now still, she'd go, Joyce. And I would yell and I was like, I don't like that. I want you calling me. She goes, Mom, you were not listening. We were
Mm.
trying to get your attention. And again, I was in my own little world of my own thoughts and my own, probably thinking about what I was going to eat next. You
Yeah.
know, you know,
Wow.
I had lunch. What's for dinner? Oh, we're going over to a party tonight. Well, I don't want to look like the glutton, so I think I'll eat a bunch of stuff at home, then I'll eat light over there at the party. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Andrea,
Wow.
true story.
When it came,
I know.
That's fantastic. You
uh,
know,
Yes.
Joyce and Justin, the more stories I hear about this, Joyce, the more people like you that come on,
Mhm.
it's not just about the food, is it? It's
No.
the food is the mask to the pain that's inside, and that's the kind of
Yes.
mask that we wear. And,
Yeah.
food doesn't yell at us, food doesn't hurt us. It does,
No.
but, in the
Yeah.
moment,
I
it's
know.
like,
I know what you
you
mean.
know, and so I feel pain. I'm gonna eat the pain.
Mhm.
I'm gonna eat the loss. I'm gonna eat the fear. I mean, I don't know about so like
Yeah.
when I was overweight, I always would beat people to the punch with deprecative humor on myself. So like I would always just beat people to the punch. Like if I make fun of myself first, then no one else is gonna have the opportunity to do that. So I always picked on myself about my weight. I always picked on myself about the way I
Oh,
look, the way I
gotcha.
walk. And so because I was that insecure, so I just masked my insecurity with this faux with this basically this faux confidence. And people are like,
Yes.
oh man, you carry the weight well. At a certain point, nobody carries the weight well. And
No, no.
no one knew, no one knew about the knee pain. No one knew about the back pain. Nobody knew that
Right.
if I went without sugar for 6 hours, I was like a crack addict going on withdrawal. Like nobody
Yes.
knew that. Nobody knew about I have a blood clotting condition that was obesity onset, and I have to take a pill now for the rest of my life because my
Yeah.
obesity put that onset. And so now I have to take I have to take a pill for the rest of my life for that. I still have knee problems. I still have back problems. I got, and maybe not as much as you guys. I still have excess skin. I
Me
don't have as
too.
much, I don't have as much excess skin
Yeah.
where I would need to get it surgically removed, but it's enough
Yeah.
excess skin that my midsection is never going to be taut. That
Mhm.
that and that's something
Right.
that I've had to come to terms with. No matter how lean I get, no matter how much I lift, that's something that I have to accept that. And I think I'm fine. I think I'm finally there.
Yes.
And honestly, the group has helped
Yeah.
me out with that because you guys have some amazing challenges ahead of you that you just take in stride. Let me tell you guys
Mhm.
that. You
Mhm.
guys take those in stride. It's very inspiring to me because it really puts my stuff into perspective. And so I'm very thankful for people like you, Joyce, Justin. You guys have really, I mean, go out in the real, we talked about this offline. There's the 600-pound down world, and then there's the real world, as I like to call it. you
Preach.
know
Yeah.
I tell people out in the real world, yeah, I lost 120 pounds, and like, oh, that's incredible. Like, well, we're about to have a lady on who lost 400 pounds in her 60s. Whoa, like that's crazy, man. It's crazy. but
Yeah.
but that's the group, 600 pounds down group,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
There are a
Yeah.
lot of people like us in there, and it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
fantastic, and I love it.
It's so good. It's so good. And I do want to just go over a couple comments coming in. We got great comments coming in tonight. So keep them coming, folks. It gives us some things to talk about. Also gets to hear what y'all are saying, what you're thinking, and your stories.
Yeah.
Ben, I know Ben. We go a little back. Ben, he used to go to the same church I used to go to, and he goes, obviously God is always
Right.
here, but it's at the lowest He really comes to us. My personal experience was my sickest point with cancer. After that, I fought hard, and it led into better health and my running career, which he does like marathons and he raises money for different types of cancer charities. Phenomenal. He took his story
Right.
of going through a rough time, and now he's this guy who wants to help other people by what he loves to
Yeah.
do. I love that. Your
Yes.
experience with God, Joyce, sounded amazing. And I don't think we're supposed to be able to explain those experiences, right? Like that goes
Yeah.
above and beyond. Um,
It is.
Andrea saying, I'm going to eat the lonely, eat the comfort because food doesn't let you down. And it's
Mm,
always there for you. It can become a toxic best friend you never realized you were getting. True story. That's something
man.
yeah, that opens up. And then we
That's
have Thomas in here.
yes.
I understand that food fills the void. Eat till I could not eat anymore. Alcohol was the same. Worse though. I just drink till I passed out.
Mm,
Man, that's a place where people get to, right? We find this
Yes.
comfort source
Yes.
in a substance.
Yes.
And then I don't know about you guys, but when I go and went to those things, I would feel good
Uh-huh.
for what? 30 seconds to a minute after because I'm
Right.
still feeling the effects. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, the
Yes.
dopamine, right? I had the rise.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden, the next minute, I feel like and I'm just going to say the words I felt, a fat, bloated pig. And I know it's not true, but that's what went through my head. I'm a fat, bloated pig.
Yes.
Like I feel so stuffed. I feel sick.
Yes.
And then I hate myself. And
Yes.
what did I do? I went right
Yes.
back to the friend that just made me feel
I
that way.
know.
Let's do it
Yep.
again.
Yep.
Joyce, is that where you were at?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. You know what I say? I say it's that vicious circle of you overeat, you gain the weight, you gain the weight, and then you feel bad that you ate like that. But
mhm.
then at the end of the day, I ask myself so many times, was there anything during the day that you ate that is just phenomenal, that just stood out in your mind that you just absolutely loved? And I mostly always said no. And I
Mm,
thought, well, then what am I doing? But then again, because the problem itself was not solved, and people, for the most part, I hope and pray that people look at me and say, even before, that Joyce was a good person. She was helpful. She was kind to us. I tried to help anywhere I could, always. I would do whatever I could. But honestly, I wasn't nice and good to myself.
Mm,
And when I finally realized that it was okay to love yourself and that those things were not my fault, and I can't change them even if they were. Maybe some things people go through were their fault, but people accept especially in church. They accept us just the way we are. And I heard a statement years ago, and now it's like kind of an epiphany. Jesus loves you just the way you are, but too much to leave you that way.
Hmm.
And I thought, how right on is that? Because I don't want to um it took me a really, really, really long time um to realize that I'm not like everyone else. I'm me.
Mhm.
And I can't compare myself. I don't want to compare myself. I don't want to pretend anymore. I don't want to pretend I'm some whoever I am in my own little mind. I'm me, and I like me.
Yeah,
And I actually I love me, you know.
I love
Um
that.
I want to try to help anybody I can for the time I have. Oh, this is good. When you have more years behind you than you have ahead of you, you look at life differently.
No
Mhm.
doubt.
And so that's where I want to help anybody that I can.
Yeah.
Um, because I know I've lived it for so long. And you guys, both of you being younger, you have that chance of like George, how wonderful. I tell this to people I meet in churches. This lady came up to me and said, wow, you got a phenomenal story. I've lost 60
Mm,
pounds. I said, well, you know what? 60 pounds is fantastic
that's
Oh,
right.
let me
because
celebrate. Let me celebrate
right
that with you.
now, yes, I did. I said that. I said, you know what the best thing that I see about that? And she's like, what? What? And because she was comparing herself to my amount. And I
Mm,
said, I'm seeing that you changed your eating habits, obviously. She goes, oh yeah, we eat healthy. I said, and then I see you're sitting with your 4 children. Yep.
Mm,
I said, guess what? You're teaching your 4 children
yeah.
what to do and how to eat healthy.
Yep.
And when you say you saw Andrea right here, there actually there's two of them, but Andrea Dawn, when you see her commenting, one of the things she learned from me was overeating.
mm,
Her overeating, she explained in there was probably a little different. She doesn't have the same story I have. She liked eating, she got used to it, she was addicted, but Andrea started, and this has been probably about 6 months, I think. I don't know exactly, but she's down almost 75 pounds.
Let's go.
And
fantastic.
I
Let's
know
go.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
and she's realizing too, it's about health.
Hmm.
Mhm.
You
Hmm.
know,
So,
it's about your health.
Joyce, let's talk about something that, okay, George and I as men, we know what goes through our heads when we hear that, when we see that scale number get to an amount, or if we feel a certain
Uh-huh.
way. I really,
Yes.
I truly believe culture is more brutal to women than they are to men
Yes.
in the
Yes.
avenue, in the arena of looks and appearance when it
Yeah.
comes to the weight of the individual. Okay. We
Yes.
live in a cruel world sometimes. And I think y'all listening right now, like, I just want you to know what we think should not always be said. And what we think should be really processed through what God says about
Mm-hmm.
situations and not our flesh and not what our first instinctual, which is what we think. So we're going to say it. It shouldn't go that way. Our thoughts should be processed through a different
No.
processing system. And that will change you as a
No.
person, by the way. Now, going
It
back to
will.
the discussion at hand, Joyce, I want to hear when you heard or seen or looked at the words 575, that number, what was in your head
Mm-hmm.
and how were you treated by people, not even knowing the number? How did they treat you being a person who was bigger, especially being a female? Give me some more information on that.
Um, I have to say, um, when first of all, and this is another thing, I'm just sharing it. I'm just being real. Whoever's listening, you have to remember, um, when I it was about 20 years ago where I hit 575, and I remember they couldn't weigh me at the doctor's office because I was
Mm,
obviously, I think the scales went up to 350.
Hmm.
And That's back then. And I had to go. They found a place. It was Brookside Nursing Home where I lived, in the area I lived. And they told me to come in the back door. So I drove to the back. I had to get myself out and go inside. And I stepped on their scale that weighed mail, like
Oh man.
mail, like letters and
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And I
Wow.
remember standing on that thinking, oh my gosh, I can't even weigh on a regular scale. I have to come here. And they gave me my weight. And I did start doing something, but I did it for all the wrong reasons. And I almost starved myself trying
Mm.
to think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be here any longer. My kids aren't going to have a mom. My kids, you
Wow.
know, were, younger, and like, oh my gosh, they're gonna grow up. Yeah, I mean, they're not grow up. They were already a little bit older, but they lived with my 575 pounds probably for about 5 years. I was that weight.
Mm.
And my daughter, every time, I would have some like not feeling so good or whatever, and she'd try to help me, we always joke, even though it's not really so much a joke, but she'd come over to me and she was little, 13 or whatever, 12. And she put her arms, try to get her little arms around the front part of me and go, come on, mom, work with me here, you know?
Mm.
And anyway, um, but people, I would have to say nobody really said it to my face like I said. Now that I'm like looking back, I asked my kids, my son, he goes, Mom, my friends said things, to
Mm.
me about you. Or so I remember a lady giving me the dirtiest look. And I'm just being real here. I was so mad. She was looking at me disgusted. And she was up kind of higher in the car. She's looking down at me, giving me these looks as she's smoking her cigarette, and the smoke is poofing all over around her little kids in the back seat. I wanted to open my window, except I'm a Christian and I'm nice, and I was going to go, lady, my gosh, I don't even smoke, okay? So I got that going for me.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
But
We love to I mean, it's so funny. We love to point the finger at what's going on in other
I
people's
know,
lives. I think Jesus
I
used the
know,
whole plank in our eye,
I know.
that analogy, right? But that's so
Yep.
true. No, I appreciate you
But I
sharing
didn't
that.
do it. I didn't do it.
Yeah, you
But yeah,
didn't do it.
I'm sure there were people along the way that, they did. I would have like, I know, using those little carts in the store. Um, I don't care if my hip's broken and my legs hanging in the back of me. I would not take that cart
Mm,
anymore, ever. I'm like after I fell, they're like, why don't you, there's a little cart, and they started to say the word, and I said, don't say it.
yeah,
I am walking. I will walk it out. I will walk it out. Okay.
I love
I
that.
am not taking. Yeah.
You got to be stubborn. You got to be stubborn. I want to share with you, and
Mhm.
you brought back some memories to me as well.
Okay.
I was so large when I was younger, and that I mean, some people didn't even know my weight. I was in a process of losing weight, and I was still very large. And then
Right.
I actually had friends who wouldn't even take me into their vehicles because they were afraid that I would somehow ruin their vehicle in one way or
Oh
another via
man.
their
Seriously.
shocks or yeah. And that was
Oh.
difficult. And I back then didn't think anything of it. I was so naive in the whole sense because I just
Yeah.
started getting friends. Like these were now my friends. And but at the same time, like I really there's no more room for you. Or if they did go with them, I would sit there and they would like get their vehicle checked out. They were nervous. Like I'm not kidding. That's how people and it's so funny. Like looking back, I actually been teased. I was teased by someone in my life too. They were like, "Well, I was going down the street and you were in the car with me, and my car was doing a wheelie." I look back today, I'm like, it's funny now, but at the same time, I'm like, in that moment, that hurt, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
this is I got a comment here that somebody said, and it's really funny. Andrea Dawn said, sometimes we need a spirit of shut up. So,
Yes. Sometimes we need the spirit of shut up. Yeah. I love
Oh
it.
my gosh.
I know. I know.
100%, 100%. What
Oh
you got,
yeah.
George? What
Well,
you got?
so well, you want to talk about, stories. I haven't thought about this in a really long time, but I remember when I really first thought like, okay, I'm gaining weight. but it's okay. And so here was my rationalization. I think it was like when I was in 5th grade, we moved to a new school. And so like I'm remembering my school pictures from like, 3rd and 4th grade from my old school. I think I was a
Yeah.
relatively smaller kid. Like I was for lack of a better phrase, consistent with the other kids. And it was in 5th grade, and I remember Fridays was pizza day at school, and nobody liked the pizza, and so everyone would get a slice of pizza, and no one would eat the pizza. This was back when it was like cafeteria pizza, so I was just like, all
I
right,
love those.
I'll eat it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's Coach George, 5th grade coach, 5
Uh-huh.
slices of pizza on his lunch tray. But
Oh
in all seriousness, like when I started getting larger, when my stomach started getting larger, and I remember thinking this thought: my dad is overweight, but everyone seems to really like my dad. So I guess
no.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if I'm overweight. My dad's not like an overtly overweight guy, but I mean he would tell you, he's overweight, and he's been overweight for as long as I can remember. And I'm just like, everyone seems to like him, so
Yeah.
what's the
Yeah.
big deal if I'm overweight? And
Yes.
then in
Yes.
middle school, my parents decided to run a vending machine business,
Mhm.
and I was their
Oh
best
no.
customer.
Oh no.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
partook
can
in the
see that.
5-finger discount.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha. Oh
so
no.
like so that's really when, food started to become quite the
Yeah.
issue. But like I remember my initial
Yes.
thought: what's the big deal? Everyone seems to like my dad, so it's fine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Yeah, we
think I think George, I don't know about you, but I think the difference that I saw with personally with myself was men are usually the stronger. If they're a little bit bigger, that's okay. Now women are saying men with the dad bods are all, it's okay and all that. So that's tended to be okay, but women are supposed to look pretty and thin and hot and whatever. And society tells us that we should look like models.
Mhm.
And we're just human beings just trying to make it in the world. I'm so over, like, I try to look nice because that I feel is for me.
Yeah,
Like my little pearls, that's my signature look because I wear them in my ears, I wear them at the pool, I wear them working out, but I wear my little cheaper Walmart $5 ones at the pool so I don't ruin my, real strand. But
yeah,
that's my signature look. I like it. It's just me. But
yeah,
I do that for me. I'm not doing it because someone tells me I got to look a certain way.
right.
Somebody actually told me because navy blue is my favorite dress. It fits good. I feel so nice. I like it. And they said, maybe if you wore, brighter colors and, whatever, you could look really, really whatever. And I'm so over that. I'm not
Yeah,
changing. I'm not changing who I am.
right.
I want to be honestly healthy,
Yeah,
healthy, healthy, healthy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Shame. I have this little saying. It says, shame will take you to places that you don't want to go, but God's mercy will restore your life.
hmm,
And
that's
and honestly too, like I exist in a because I there are others too. So I'm a weightlifter. So I'm a weightlifter. I'm a gym guy.
Hmm.
Um, so it uh weightlifting programming, sets, reps, muscle growth, muscle recovery. That's kind of my thing. And
Okay.
so in the gym world, there's a lot of people chasing the aesthetic.
mhm.
They're chasing the big,
Yes.
and I'll talk from a guy's perspective too. And
Okay.
I mean, I guess I can talk from a female's perspective too. I have some
Okay.
experience in that as well. But like from the male perspective, it's big shoulders, big arms, abs. Um, and for women, it's that hourglass shape. Uh,
Right. Right.
they're doing all
Right.
the workouts on the legs and stuff like that. But everyone's chasing the aesthetic. You can
Yes.
absolutely chase an aesthetic at the expense of your health, wholesale, no doubt. I mean,
Right.
you can
Yes.
absolutely do that. Now,
Yep. Yep.
if you're chasing the aesthetic You can absolutely do it at the expense of your health. I've done it. Joyce, you said that when you started, you did it unhealthily. You starved yourself. You were chasing an aesthetic at the
Yeah,
expense of
years
your health.
ago. Yeah, when I did
Years
it.
ago. Yeah,
Yep,
years ago.
yep,
I was
yep.
chasing
This
I
time,
did
no, but
what
yeah.
right. So like I did it too. And when I did it, I was chasing the aesthetic at the expense of my health as well. But if you're chasing health, more often than
Hmm.
not, you will get 80% near an aesthetic that you might be looking for. If you're chasing the health,
Right.
if you chase the health, if you are concerned about looks, now looks are not everything. I mean, I like the way I look, but I like better the way I feel.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
chasing the way I feel bodily in my health, in my nourishment, and all of that, it's gonna have a
Yes.
natural cause and effect to the way I look.
Mhm.
And so
Right.
if
Right.
you're starting, if you're watching this and you're starting your journey, don't worry about chasing a look. Chase your
No.
health
That's
and the
good.
look will come.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
that's good.
And I don't know about them personally myself. I say everyone's different. Like I
Mhm.
started and nothing was going to stop me. I mean, I quit eating fast food. I quit eating all sugar, no sugar. Like when you say that, and I never went through withdrawals on sugar, so I was always good about that. Changing things of artificial foods and anything, no box, no cans, just fresh, fresh, fresh. And that was for me. But I tell people who ask me, I say, if you mess up, because they often do,
Mhm, mhm.
I didn't for like, I mean, I just didn't. But if you do, don't wait till next week. I think it may have been Justin who said this recently. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until you do it now.
Yeah,
Just start where you're at,
yeah,
because that's the only thing we can do. Start where you're at. And if you
yeah,
mess up, then you know what? Start again and start again.
yeah. That's good. And I think too, I mean, you want to go back to the image thing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we get so caught up in that, number one. I mean, I used to live that way, right? I mean, I think that's just
Yeah.
culture. I think culture shifts that way.
Hmm.
And I see it all the time. And I'm a gym goer as well, and I go pretty much every morning. And
Right?
it turns into it's a superficial world. And like
Yes.
y'all were talking about, chase health, be healthy. That should be the forefront of the mind behind what we
Yes.
do. And
Hmm.
truthfully, if we have that at the forefront, the looks come with that, right? Like who you're supposed to be will come with that in a
Yeah.
natural sense. And we live in a
Yes.
culture today where if you don't have a specific way of looking, then you're not making it. You're not doing it. You're not accepted. You're not, I mean, it it blows my mind, and I can get in some trouble by saying this and maybe lose some followers. I'm okay with that. But it blows my mind if when people at the gym or wherever use fitness as a way to show off their body, right?
Oh
Like it's
yeah.
my way of showing who my body, right?
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
like I get it. You have a great body.
Yeah.
You're working hard for
Yes.
that body. I'm not
Yeah.
against that. I'm not against you
Yes.
working hard for your
Oh
body.
yeah.
But
No, me
you
either.
have a if that is your only source of acceptance,
Yeah.
you are going to be very sad when somebody rejects that one day and you
Yeah.
just lost your identity,
And
you
the
know?
sad thing,
Man,
Justin, the sad thing about that is that person doesn't, because there was a really fantastically fit guy at the gym, and I've decided myself, because I already have all the gym equipment to just do mine here for a while, and but there's a guy, and I remember going up to him and asking him some stuff, and he was fantastic about giving me all the advice that he could give me. And I'm thinking about all those that are your followers that, like you said, that are in great shape. Use that to help others. You
Mhm.
see somebody struggling, don't just go, like, hey, I'm muscle man and whatever. I mean, use it, use that to help other people.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's
Yeah.
just me though.
No, that's good. And so it's true. You can use your experience, use your gifts,
Yes.
and do that
Yes.
so you can help lead other people in this area,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you don't have to
Yes.
be boasting about anything. You really don't. Now,
Right.
we
Yes.
can probably go on for that for a long time, but we have about 10 minutes going here. We're winding down a little
Right.
bit. I do want to say we have other people kind of chiming in here. First off, George, Ben loved the rectangle cafeteria pizza. Just say,
I swear they put sugar in it
Yeah.
because it slaps,
I
dude.
know.
Like
and
the
I
oh,
know.
then
I
Thomas said he used
know.
to roll his up like a Stromboli.
you were Thomas is my new spirit animal.
He's your spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Thomas shared his story. I went from 278 to
Yeah.
221, so I lost around 58
Yeah.
pounds. I
Yeah.
started at, listen to this, guys,
That's
8
great.
sit-ups, 15 jumping jacks, and around 3/4 of a mile walk. I am at 75 jumping jacks and 35 sit-ups after every
Yay.
1/4 mile at 4 laps. I think I'd
Yeah.
likely have about 10 pounds of loose skin. Okay. I mean, so Thomas started out,
Yeah.
building
Yeah.
up to where he is today, and now he's down 58 pounds. That's pretty amazing.
Solid.
Yay,
That's
Yeah,
Thomas.
fantastic.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
Ben says when I first got into lifting, I was going for the aesthetic until I found out it was obviously horrible for me. Now I lift for strength. I'm somewhat toned but happy how I am. Yes. So
Fantastic. I
yeah,
love
Strength.
it.
I love it. I love it.
yes,
Strength. Yes.
yes. And
Yes.
George, Texas
Remember the
A&M
other
has
day I posted?
yes.
It was
Well,
on my post the other day. Remember? Think strong, not skinny.
and I want to send people your way, by the way. We're going to talk. I do want to have them come to your page and definitely see your inspiration that you leave on pretty much a daily basis. Before we do that, I want to know what your life's like now. I think it's important to tell our audience, like, how
Oh
did
my
you,
gosh.
let's take our final 10 minutes to have a
Okay.
discussion on what your life is like now. How did you lose
Right.
400 pounds? What do you practice? What do you do? And what would you give to other people for a sense of hope?
Well, one of the things I honestly can tell you one of my biggest thing I thought about was I couldn't heal because I pretended I wasn't hurt.
Hmm.
So you need to have a come to Jesus meeting with yourself and figure out what the problem is. And then another thing is I got I always say it like I took other people along on my journey. And I took them screaming and shouting if they didn't want to go. But I'm kidding. But I took other people along on my journey asking questions. Kind of like what Thomas said about starting off with, you know, only doing so many jumping jacks and only doing, I mean, I'm older now, so I got to watch sometimes, some of the things I do. But I started going swimming.
Mm,
Swimming was
very good.
really great. I mean, I think I was like Justin, when you are a lot bigger of a weight, and you start off big, you get down and you get down, but you're still a 300 pound. I think I started swimming at about maybe 300 pounds, and I already had some loose skin, and I went to sign up, and the lady who signed me up was probably about 120 pounds in great shape. She was the instructor. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to go to this swimming and it's going to have all these beach body babes, women, and I'm going to be me. And behind me, it said, be afraid, but do it anyway.
Mm,
So I got my swimsuit and I took myself on down to the pool, and they were so great. They were my inspiration along the way. Like I said I've lost now so many pounds, and then 2 months later, wow, you lost what? You lost this, this
Mhm.
is while you're swimming. Then I started, the more I lost, the more I could do. At
Mhm.
first I started trying to walk a little bit no matter what. Walking's not my favorite. I'll be the first one to admit that. I like doing other things better. I'll even get on the treadmill, but I'd go to the store and I pretty much right away, as soon as I could, gave up those carts, those riding carts.
Mhm.
mm,
And even if it was go into the store and buy 3 things and come back out because maybe you can't walk that far.
Mhm.
Then it was, oh, I got to spend 25 minutes in the store. Now get out of the store, Joyce, or you're going to spend too much money. But
Truth.
but yeah, no, yeah. So and like I said, I purposed to make sure that I started out myself, because if you don't know, when I started years ago, I was 5'10".
Mm.
Now I've lost almost an inch, as time went on. So I'm 5'9". So I could always get, by with a little bit of weight.
Yep.
But I decided, like, Lord, I need to eat healthy. What am I going to do? And it was eat a certain amount of calories, because for me that's what worked. So I did 1200 for a while. It was a diet, like 1200 is a diabetic diet. Um, and I tried to do the most bang for my buck, like eat
Mhm.
cucumbers, put a little bit of lime on them and some tahini, I ate protein. And like I said, when my protein level dropped a little bit, I got some protein powder and put it in my yogurt with a few almonds. um, I'm not, I could be a huge eater, but I've decided in my own mind that I was going to bring the amount of food down. And I did okay. I did actually really well, because I got out of, like, don't eat in front of the TV, just sit at the table, even if it's just you, and enjoy your dinner, whatever you're eating, eat slow. Um, grab, a lot of times I do vegetables. I get, things on sale, and, eat what's on sale right then. So if people on a budget need to buy things on sale, freeze them, get them back out whenever, it's not on sale anymore.
Yeah.
The same thing with meats. I don't eat beef. It's just me. I'm not telling anybody not to eat beef, but beef does not digest well with me. And
Mhm.
now that I know my body better because of who I am and what I eat, I don't have to say, oh, my stomach kind of hurts, but maybe it was that, 3/4 of that pizza and some chips and guacamole salsa and, what Tostitos, that you ate
Yep.
before.
Yep.
Now I know my body well enough to where, if my stomach doesn't feel well, I already know it's probably something. I've gone to some organic things, like I started organic coffee.
Mhm.
I do essential oils. For I just don't go to here. I'll show you this. See this? I think Justin was the one who said, see all these, the prescription medications. And I have to say, when I started my journey, my A1C was like 9.7 with a shot and a pill. So it was
Wow.
almost 10 using a shot and a pill.
Wow.
I go to the doctor this week, but the last doctor's appointment that I had, with no pills, no medicine, nothing. I don't take anything anymore. Zero, nothing. Not only
Phenomenal.
do I not take 12 for, prescription and extra things for pain and all that, but I don't take anything. But my last one was 5.7.
Wow.
5.7
Wow.
with no medicine at
That's
my age.
fantastic.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great.
Wow.
What you eat is so important.
Yeah.
Get up. You were talking about a friend who, the friend who had the cancer, um, the story of cancer. I met my friend because my husband had passed from cancer, and he also does a cancer, Living Hope Cancer Foundation, where he cancer coaches, and he's so into eating healthy. But he juices, and for whoever does that, they can. Juicing doesn't, I don't do as well juicing. I
Mhm.
sometimes will juice some things, but for the most part, I work better with actually eating those vegetables instead of juicing them. I
Yeah.
know there's fantastic benefits. So, like you said at the beginning, whatever works, for you, as long as it's healthy.
Right. I love that. And Joyce, I want to say this is a comment that came across that I was reading it as you were talking to, and it brought a tear to my eye because this is what obesity does to people, and it could rob them of this. But this is your daughter, right? Andrea Dawn, your daughter?
Say that again. Yes.
Andrea Dawn? Yeah.
Yes.
So she says one of the greatest accomplishments to me that my mom was able to do from her weight loss journey was walk me down the aisle on my wedding day.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
That's
Yes. Her
That
brother was on one side, and they, yeah, and I was able to be, and even yeah, that kind of brings a tear to my eye too,
yeah,
Andrea. Thank you for that. But
yeah.
um was able to get her in her dress
Mm,
and do all those things, being able to stand on your feet and run to do this errand and run that errand and go and taking her wedding dress shopping. And but and another thing was, who would have thought that last year, because I told you my husband died of cancer, my grandson-in-law, his mom also got cancer. Beautiful woman. She's passed, but my daughter and grandson do a cancer walk every year, 5 miles. Um, I mean, you have to go down and you have to start at a point. You have to actually go and walk part of the way just to the point you're going to start at and then walk. And most of them knew my my journey, how much I had lost and everything. And I was able to do that walk with them when I saw the finish line, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's right up here, the finish line.
yeah,
I was like, who would have ever thought in ever that I was going to be able to accomplish that?
yeah.
I mean, I really, and I
That's
have goals that I want to do.
yeah. I love that. No,
Yeah.
you've talked. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can, I'm sure, and I want to give you the floor to plug who you are, plug how people can get a hold of you, your upcoming book. I mean, those are all great things that we want to bring to
Yes.
attention. And
Yes.
guys,
Yes.
you can see Joyce's story not only in her own page, but definitely you want to join the 600 pound down community because she's active in there
Yes.
too.
Oh, she's
Yes.
very
And
active. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
it's awesome that
Yes.
she's part of that.
Yeah.
But we are
Yeah.
approaching our final couple minutes here, so I want to give her the floor just to
Right.
give our audience
Okay.
how can they reach and see you, Joyce?
Okay. Um, my book, I know you can look it up two different ways. I think I've come up with a title for my book. And at least right now, if you look up Rejoice, and I'm using my name,
Fantastic name, by the
Rejoice.
way. I
Yes.
love it. I love that
And
kind of stuff.
the second thing is just to look the book up by my name. I'm going to just go Joyce Dashner. Um, Gibson was put on so a lot of my school friends from back in the day could always find me on Facebook, and I never changed it. So Joyce Dashner. And yeah, hit me up on Facebook. I also have an Instagram account, and it's under the same name, Joyce Dashner. Um, I'm not real computer savvy, but I'm learning. I'm learning as many people as I can get it out to. Definitely 600 pounds down. I'll stay active in there. And if anybody has questions, they can ask there if they need to find out what the exact name. And I'm pretty sure my book's going to be called Re Dash Joyce.
That's
Just
awesome.
like the name Rejoice, like Rejoice.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. God gave that to me one night, and I was like, somebody else had said that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's it.
I love
So
that. That's
we're,
It's a
amazing.
fantastic
yeah,
name, by
we're
the way.
coming. Yeah, we're coming to editing, and my daughter's like helping me and stuff. So um, if anybody can lose weight, it's me. I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm going to tell you, if anybody can write a book, I was never great. Um, I have to sit and think, sometimes, did I already say that? Am I too boring? Or, you just think all these things.
Sure.
Or what? You're writing a book. That means you're famous. No, no, not at all. Not at all. Nope, nope. I just want to help people. I'm
Yeah,
here to help any way I can. You got questions? Send me a question. I will do everything I can to help.
I love that.
Well, Joyce, thank you so
Yeah.
much for being on. Quite honestly, I love the fact that you did what you did when you did it. I think
Yeah.
when you did it is a big reason of why you're able to inspire so many people. I think doing it when you did and being the age that you have a lot of
Yeah.
experience. You know what
Yeah.
not. I'm sure there are things you can tell
Yes.
people, don't do this.
Yes.
Uh,
No.
don't don't do it
No.
this way. Do it this
No.
way because this
Yes.
way is going to be
Yes.
better.
Yeah.
But I love how active you are in the group, honestly, because there are days that I can't get on, or there are days that Justin gets
Yeah.
busy. So the fact that you're
Sure.
active in there, we love that. Again, if for those of you who are not a part of the group, come be a part of the group. You're going to hear more from Joyce. You're going to hear more from
Yes.
others like her. Yes, very proud of you, Joyce. Thank you, Andrea. Seriously, I love all the comments tonight too. Thank you for everyone who's been commenting. Phenomenal. Appreciate that.
I have one last thing to say, and that is I give it to different people who ask me, because there's people who have been following me that are just, they're inspiring me now to just, keep on, because once you hit close, and I have some that's probably for another you guys were talking about what kind of segments to do, but skin removal, I have a couple more to do. But yet I have a free handout that I give. And I have a disclaimer, please see your doctor. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. But there's some things on there that I do that I just give out as a free handout to anybody who wants it, that, if they want to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Really
Well,
great.
Joyce, thank you so much for being on.
Thank
And
you,
we
guys.
appreciate you, and we appreciate your
Yeah.
story. Thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Yes. So that was fun, man. She's a blast.
Dude, she's a blast. She's a blast and a half in a glass, man. That was fantastic.
That's a great story. That's
Dude,
a great story.
I like sitting here as a 30-year-old guy, and Justin, gym culture, fitness culture. There's hardly anyone in there over the age of like 50. And so like everything is so generationalized, I think, and when it comes to health and fitness, when it comes to weight loss and everything. When was the last time you saw anyone like Joyce on any kind of major ad on TV or on the internet? When people who are age, and here's the entertainment in the media. When they put someone like Joyce's age on there, it is maintenance care.
Yeah.
It's not transformational.
Right.
It's not transformational like that. It's maintenance care. It's okay. You're here. We've given up on you. And so here's how you can maintain and not get any worse. You know what? Throw that in the garbage, because we had Joyce Dashner on tonight, and she is absolutely able to do it. Anybody can do it. So don't give me this maintenance care stuff, Justin. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. We had Joyce Dashner on.
Yes.
So seriously, like,
yes.
I'm 30, you're 37. Joyce is in her 60s. Like, who says it can't be you?
Absolutely. I love that.
We say that all the time, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. We say that all the time. And, it's, oh, really? Who says? Because there are some people thinking right now who will maybe even be watching this. I can't do it. Preach. Why can't you do it? Yeah. Why can't you do it? Give me one good reason. It's because you're comfortable and you're afraid.
You're offending so many people right now. No, I was kidding. No, this is good. This is good. I love that. Say it again.
Because you're comfortable and you're afraid.
Yes.
We as people hate change.
Yeah.
And we would rather deal with the devil we know than anything else, because we're that scared. I know what to expect when I overeat. I know what to expect when I wake up in the morning overweight. I know what to expect when I get looks and people make snide comments. See, that's not new to me. What's new and scary to me is being hungry.
Yeah.
What's new and scary to me are the possibilities of what it might be like to actually be a healthy person, because I've never experienced that. And those might be some things that are going through people's minds right now. Who says, and you know what? I bet when Joyce started, she wasn't thinking, I'm going to lose 400 pounds. Like, that's the thing. When you started, I don't think it was 600. When I started, dude, when I started at 310, I was like, I'd like to lose 15.
Yeah.
And then I lost 30 because it was a day to day to day to day. I wasn't looking a year down the road. I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to do this for a year and see what happens. It's like, bro, I got to get through this next 24 hours, and we'll worry about the next 24 hours when it gets here.
You're speaking so much truth as we close out, George. I'm just seeing the comments are still coming in, by the way. People are talking.
Are they really?
They are.
Are they really?
Okay. Thomas was 48 and trucking toward 50 at almost 300 pounds. Get up and go walk somewhere. Lowish carbs, very low sugar, straight veggies for lunch, high protein supper. You will sleep better. Yep. And then Ben's still here. Small goals, then increase so not to get discouraged. Absolutely. And then Andrea, thank you for the ministries you're doing. It's a pleasure to join. Love you, Mom. Super awesome. So yeah, comments still coming in, but back to what you were saying, George, as we close out. Thank you, everybody, for first off, for coming in tonight, just watching this
For
amazing
real.
story, listening to her story. And just to say what George is, just to kind of catapult off what George is saying, I've coached individuals and clients 80 some years old, 90 some years old. I have. And there's one thing that they all had in common with their thought life before they received coaching, and that's this: am I too old? Am I too old to see results? Am I beyond I'm beyond 40, beyond 50? Can I still see results? And I assure all of them, one way or another, we're going to find you results. And I want you to take the standard off yourself, because that's a robber. Standards are robbers, man. Like, you may have the standard that you're having so low that you set that it could be higher. So let's just say this. Let's see what happens. Let's just enjoy the process and become healthier together. And I'll tell you what, they exceed the expectations. It's amazing, brother.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. And so, yeah, don't be scared. Don't be scared. And if you're going to be scared, let's do it scared. Because doing
Yeah.
it scared produces character and it produces results, right? That's what we're supposed to do. So
Because who says we can't be scared?
nobody.
Dude, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Like, I got some things going on in my life right now that I'm trying to pursue, and I'm terrified.
Yeah.
But you do it, and you do it, and you know, after you do it, you're a little bit more accomplished.
That's right.
Your determination is on point. Your discipline is on point. And listen, guys, when you're doing this whole thing, don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to Justin. Don't compare yourself to Joyce. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes. Yes.
Don't do that, because if you need some help, if you want to know where to start, reach out to myself, reach out to Coach Justin, go in the 600 pounds down group, ask people how, take some advice from people.
Yeah.
But let us find what works for you.
Yeah.
Let us, because we you coach 10 different people, you're going to have 10 different plans, because no one's the same.
Right.
So don't think to yourself, well, I'm a lost cause. Oh, it's too late. Oh, I'm too old. Oh, I'm too far gone. Talk to Coach Justin. 799 pounds at the age of 16. What else you got?
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to Joyce. Talk to George. Come on, guys. Start somewhere. Make it happen.
We want to help you. We want you to come and ask for help. That's what we're doing right now. This is us implicitly telling you, ask us for help. We can't force help upon you, and we're not going to do that. You're your own person, and we respect you enough to make your own decisions. But brother, sister, let me tell you this: come ask for help.
Yeah. We're here to help. There's a lot of potential. You can change your life, but it all starts with you taking that one step to do it.
100%.
And do it afraid. It's okay. It's okay
Absolutely.
to be skeptical. It's okay to not be sure. But be sure of this: change is necessary to produce results, right? All right, guys, we love you. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll catch you next time on, what's it called, George?
600 Pounds Down podcast.
See you next time. And I was given a death sentence at the age of 16. I became a slave to food and to fear. 799 pounds. 799 pounds. 799 pounds.